All right, here we go. Hey guys, we are live. I am Desi Arnaz, professional investor and fund manager of the Everly May Real Estate Fund and Everly May Capital Group. Listen, you guys, some of you guys that know me know that I invest, right? I invest heavily personally, and I invest in mortgage-backed contracts. And the reason that I love mortgage-backed contracts is because I have is because they have cash flow and you have real estate backing them up. But today I'm not talking about mortgage-backed contracts. Today I'm actually talking about something different. I'm talking about cryptocurrencies. Um, for I don't know, a year and a half or so, different people have been telling me about cryptocurrencies, and I haven't really embraced it, only because it seemed so weird to me and so new, and I know that some people have embraced it, but overall, I think in society, as a society, most people don't know much about it. Okay, there's a handful of people, of course, that do know quite a bit about it and that study it really, really aggressively. But I'm starting to pay more attention to it now. And the reason that I am starting to pay more attention to it now is because I can see that the governments are starting to get involved in the cryptocurrency at a high level. You know, as a matter of fact, I did a little bit of research and I saw that our Vice President J.D. Vance has almost a $500,000 in just one coin alone. That's Bitcoin, right? That's just one of the cryptocurrencies, but he has almost a $500,000 in that currency. Um, uh, m- Bitcoin, the U.S. government has $13 billion in Bitcoin. I mean, that tells you something, right? There's something there, guys. And that's why I said, okay, I can't continue to ignore this. And having been around so many years and seeing so many new things come up during my lifetime, I was a little bit slow to adopt the cryptocurrency bug simply because I wanted to see who's going to win out. The analogy that I want to use today is back in the day when videotapes first came out, right? We had VHS and then we had Beta. And a lot of people felt Beta was going to be the big deal. And it turned out that Beta went to the wayside because VHS is what was adopted by society, right? And so I wanted to wait and see. We got all these different cryptocurrencies out there, all these different types of coins, and I thought, let's wait and see which ones actually flush out. Well, they're starting to flash out right now, guys. Bitcoin is one of them. XRP is another one that seems to be kind of like definitely going to be one that's going to be sticking around. And our government has said that they are coming up with rules of the road, so to speak, for trading in currencies and cryptocurrencies. So this is here to stay. And as such, what I'm suggesting to people is yes, you absolutely want to invest in something like real estate or mortgage-backed notes for your foundational investment. That's where you put the bulk of your money. But I am suggesting now that you should start taking a look at um, cryptocurrencies. I'm just now starting. I literally just opened an account yesterday with an exchange called Coinbase. Coinbase. And on Coinbase, it's really good for beginners, I guess. And on Coinbase, I was able to make my first purchase of cryptocurrency. And I just bought 50 bucks just to test it out, 50 bucks worth of Bitcoin. Okay. And the reason that I chose Bitcoin is because, as I said, the governments are adopting Bitcoin, and I think it's going to, at some point, be the foundational uh, currency that our governments use. You know, there has to be a standard. There always has to be a standard, right? We talk about the gold standard under the fiat system, right? So yeah, our dollars were backed by gold at one point, and so there has to be a standard. And I have a feeling that Bitcoin may become that standard at some point. And that's one of the reasons that I think our government is so heavily invested in Bitcoin. And there are a lot of reasons why Bitcoin may have been, besides the fact that it's the first, there are other reasons why Bitcoin is probably the most popular too. I'm no expert, so I'm not even going to go there. I'm simply saying just reading the tea leaves of what I see going on right now. It makes sense to me to say, hey, let's start to put some dollars into Bitcoin and put some dollars into XRP. I certainly would not put the bulk of my investment capital in those things, although I guess Bitcoin has a really good history of appreciation over the past 10 years. It has averaged more than 50% a year. I mean, that's mad, crazy appreciation. And maybe it'll continue at that. I have a feeling that it will. But that's okay. I'm not trying to use cryptocurrency to secure my future. My future is already secured with my investment portfolio in mortgage-backed contracts. And I love that because it's not volatile, it's not tied to the markets, and I don't have to worry about it. And so I just thought that today I would just share with you guys my thoughts on cryptocurrency. I think that it's worth taking a look at. I think that if you haven't been looking at it, if you're like me, you've been sitting on the fence and saying, I hear it, but I don't know, it's probably time to take a good look. And here's what I can tell you. In every new technology, there's a period that I call the early adoption period. And that's where we are now with these cryptocurrencies. A handful of people have adopted them, and have followed it and pursued it. But the overall society has not. But that day is coming. And what happens when you have these types of technologies, you have your early adopters, they get in, and those are the people that ride the wave way up. Because once the overall society gets in, then you're going to see cryptocurrencies and the pricing just go through the roof. So now is the time to put some money, I believe, into cryptocurrencies. Our government has said that this year they're going to give us rules of the road and how how to trade and what they expect and what the laws are going to be around it. And I'm telling you guys, that's going to be a game changer when our government starts talking about it in a lot more open fashion. Right now, of course, they are talking about it, but once they start really pushing it out there, you're going to see it's a game changer. And as more and more people jump into it, the value of these coins, some of the coins are going to go up. Many of the coins are going to just fade away into oblivion, and you don't know which ones. And so I'm simply saying, look, let's stick with the ones that have the highest likelihood of doing well. And so how do we tell? Well, we look and see, where is the government themselves putting their coins, right? Making their investments. When I was in university, back when I was younger, I remember one of our professors had made the comment about currency. And he said, look, what makes a currency valuable, even from the beginning of time, is when whatever that currency is, whether it's beads or animal skins or dollar bills or whatever that currency is, when it can be used to pay taxes to the government or to the king, right? So that's what creates the value, when someone can use it to keep themselves out of jail, okay? Whatever that currency is. And so in this case here, our government, they're not accepting cryptocurrency for taxes as far as I know, but our government is all on board for Bitcoin. And, it wouldn't surprise me if in someday they might say, hey, you can use Bitcoin to pay your taxes. And once I heard our government talking about cryptocurrencies, and I heard our president say that we're going to be the currency, we're going to be the leader in the cryptocurrency world, I thought, okay, it's time for me to pay attention here. And guys, if you have a few dollars, definitely want to put some in there, because once the overall public adopts this, that's when you're going to see some real wealth being created, because you're going to see really, really high appreciation in this asset class, based on my gut and my experience, the things that I have experienced, right? You're going to see it happen. And so I just want to advise you guys, you can invest in mortgage notes. Keep the bulk of your money there. I think that's a great place to invest the bulk of your money. But carve out a little piece that you can put into some cryptocurrencies. You decide which ones. I told you the ones that I like, right? I like, as I said, XRP, and I like Bitcoin. And, I know very little about anything else. I've heard of other coins, but these are the ones that I like because, again, the government is backing these coins. The government is talking about these coins. So I think they're going to be the most popular. All right. Listen, if you guys want to know more about me and who I am and what I do, head over to therealdesiarnez.com, therealdesiarnez.com, and you can connect with me there. You can also go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. It is just youtube.com, the Desi Arnaz, right? Just go there and click on the bell, and every time I publish something new or every time I go live, you'll be notified and you can catch up on what I'm talking about. So I'll be sharing with you guys what I'm doing with my crypto portfolio, just like I've always done with my mortgage note portfolio. And then I'll be sharing with you guys how I will be using both of those to feed my family dynasty trust and to build my financial legacy for my family that lasts for centuries. We'll be talking about that in upcoming videos. So stick around. Stick around. Let's grow together, guys. Let me know if you decide to invest in crypto. Hit it up in the comments under the videos. Just let me know if you're already in crypto. You know, I'm new to this, brand new. Literally, today is the first day that I've owned any cryptocurrency at all. Okay. But you're going to see that I will be moving forward in that space. God bless you guys. God bless your family. And God bless America.